Alright, hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to the premiere of a brand new game. I'm excited. In fact, to start the pre-stream here, I think what I'll do is actually show you the page for the game to get us hyped a little bit here. Hello everyone. DSP here on the stream. I have a cough drop in my mouth, which is what you're hearing if you think that I sound a little bit different. And welcome. Today is the premiere of Inside, the new game from Playdead, the same company that made Limbo back in 2010. Yeah, they've been busy, I guess. 6 years. I really doubt it took them 6 years to make this game, let's face it. They probably, for a while there, weren't exactly, actively designing a game. Or maybe they were. Who knows? Maybe it did take them 6 years. Who knows? But I digress. Hello and welcome. Today we're starting this game. I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I really liked Limbo. If you guys remember, 2010, holy shit, was that a long time ago, right? That was way back when, if I remember correctly, the very beginning of me doing playthroughs on DSPGaming. In fact, just for the sake of argument, right here on pre-stream, I actually want to look it up. I want to see when was my Limbo playthrough. I'm going to find this out right now for everyone. Let's see. It was September of 2010. September of 2010, ladies and gentlemen, when Limbo released. So yes, it was actually on DSPGaming. Back when DSPGaming was relatively new, right? Back then, the channel had only been inactive for what? 4 or 5 months? I made it in April. So 5 months, yeah. To avoid all the copyright bullshit, the false copyright bullshit that I was having, on my original YouTube channel, Dark Side Phil. And really, it was when DSPGaming picked up is when I started to get my viral popularity. It was early 2011, actually. But Limbo was one of the very first indie-style games that I ever played for YouTube. Previous to that, I had pretty much focused on major AAA releases and or, even if they weren't major, more heavily published releases, games that had a bigger budgets, had full retail games coming out. You know what I mean? And now things are different. Now I try to cover a lot. If there's an indie game that appeals to me, if it's a big budget release, a lot of games I skip and I end up playing stuff that people normally wouldn't even expect me to play. I like that. I like that because I do this as my full-time job and because I have the chance to control my destiny, right? I have way more time to do this, but back then in 2010, this was just my hobby. This was something that I did, 2 to 3 hours a night tops. If I had time after work, I would sit down and I would play a game for a couple hours after dinner and upload the videos to YouTube just for fun. It wasn't for money or anything like that. You couldn't even monetize gameplay videos back then. Now it's a lot different. Now I can actually focus in on, I want to play this indie game. I'll take time out to do it and, live stream it. It's a lot different. It's cool. I like this. This, for me, honestly, is the biggest highlight of the week. Even though we've got Street Fighter V content coming out this weekend, I'm currently playing Star Wars The Force Awakens. Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, excuse me. This game is actually the most appealing to me this week because I really liked Limbo. I did. It was unique, it was different, it was dark, it was funny with some of the death animations, but it was ingenious with a lot of the puzzles. And I think in a lot of ways, Limbo kind of inspired a whole wave of indie-style games that came after it. The art style, the platforming / puzzle combination. I think a lot of games, were inspired by Limbo. So, here we are 6 years later. Yeah, holy shit, right? And we're going to check out the next game from these guys, Playdead. I'm excited. I will say this up front. I did receive a free copy of this game from the third-party company that was hired by a bunch of game studios basically to do PR and stuff for them. Every once in a while, they contact me and they ask me, would I be interested in this or this? And in this case, they actually contacted me last week and they said, Phil, do you have any plans to play this game inside? And I said, not only do I have plans to play inside, but Limbo was one of my favorite games of 2010. And I did a full playthrough and review of that game back then, and it was a hit. So I'm definitely planning on doing a full playthrough of this one and a review for my new channel, KO Gaming, which is just taking off on YouTube right now. So this would be the perfect opportunity. And they were like, then you will definitely receive a code. Here it is. So that was pretty nice of them, okay? Now, I am fully aware this is not a $60 purchase, right? I believe this game is it 30? I can't remember if it's 20 or 30. I definitely have to look that up before I review it, because the actual price of a game is actually a factor. Maybe I should look it up right now. Let's see, Xbox Live. I guess it's Xbox.com. Yeah, here we go. Xbox.com. And it sends me to Xbox UK. That's nice. It sent me to fucking Xbox UK. My PC thinks that it's in the UK. That's good. Alright, here, let me type this in. Inside. The game is $20. Okay, good. I got my answer. $19.99. I think that's actually what the same exact price that Limbo was when it was new, back in 2010. So, there you have it. I'm excited. So we're going to be doing this on stream today for around 3.5 hours of gameplay of Inside, okay? And then tomorrow as well. Tomorrow my main gameplay stream will be more of Inside. So FYI, if you're wondering, how much of gameplay of Inside I'm going to be getting in this week, that's it. Now, I don't know how long the game is. If I remember correctly, Limbo was around a 5-hour game. I actually looked it up, and it was a 16-part playthrough. Now, back then, I made 10 to 15 minute long video. So let's estimate that every video was 15 minutes long. That means the playthrough was around 4.5 hours long. Okay? I'm assuming this game will probably be of similar length. So I may actually complete the entire game within today and tomorrow's streams. And if I do, that's perfectly fine. In fact, that's cool, because that means I can work on the review sooner rather than later, right? So that's good. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Later tonight, I will be playing more of LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens co-op with Leanna. Alright, so I hope you'll come back for that. Those who were here last night for it had a good time. I know it's a late night stream. I know that a lot of my viewing audience is asleep or, putting on their pajamas and getting ready for sleep at that time. But it was a fun stream. The game's pretty good. The game's actually quite good. So hopefully you will check it out later tonight as well, okay? And then later this week, there's going to be the patron multiplayer stuff going on Friday and Saturday. Sunday, I'm starting with my Street Fighter V coverage of the expansion of Street Fighter V, including Ibuki and Balrog and the story mode. In fact, I probably will start with the story mode before anything and then jump into the characters maybe Monday and Tuesday. We'll see, okay? Alright, but anyway, I digress. That's kind of what's going on with this stream and gameplay-wise, alright? Now, I have a couple other things I want to talk about before we get started here. First off, unfortunately, once again, my sinuses are shot, and I finally figured out the culprit. It's taken me a while, but I figured it out. It's air conditioning. It's whenever I go to sleep with the air conditioner on in my house, I wake up the next morning and my throat is sore, and my sinuses drip all night, and it pisses me the fuck off, because I wake up feeling like shit, and I'm like, I went to sleep feeling fine, I wake up feeling like crap. Now, the reason I know specifically the reason, the correlation here is because we had a very, very hot day yesterday here in Washington. It was only supposed to be around 80 degrees. It ended up being almost 90 degrees outside. My office, to give you some perspective, last night the sun was down. Okay? The sun was down. Leanna and I were playing Lego in my office. The office was 87 degrees. And we had to turn the air conditioner on because it was so goddamn hot. So we left it on overnight so we could, sleep. And it killed me. So it sucks. you know, right now, I'm sorry that I have a cough drop in my mouth. I'm sorry that you're probably going to hear me having to clear my throat and snort or whatever I need to do. It is what it is. It's life, you know. Now that I know this, what I may do every night is right before I go to sleep, just turn off the air conditioner so that I can, you know, maybe not have that annoy me, okay? But anyway, you know, that's just the deal with me today. That's why I might sound a little different, and I apologize for it. Number 2, I want to talk a little bit about the end of the month and Patreon, because there's some changes that are going to come to my Patreon shortly that I do need to disclose. I'm going to have to make a quick video about it, probably, to explain it to everyone. The bottom line is this. Unfortunately, there's still shenanigans going on with my Patreon, alright? And you know what? Let me go back now. So I'm done talking about inside. We'll go here. Actually, you know what? We'll go here. Here we go. There's some shenanigans going on with my Patreon. And what I mean by that is we still have people who are coming in, pretending like they're legit pledgees. They come in at various times during the month. Some of them even leave pretty big pledges, like $50, stuff like that. And then they wait till the end of the month, and last minute, they pull the pledge, alright? It's stupid. Why are you allowed on Patreon to make false pledges, right? It doesn't make sense. It's a really dumb practice, and people do it all the time to troll people. Now, in particular, last year, this was really bad. I had like 2 or 3 kids, and they were kids, because I knew exactly who the fuck they were, too, who were coming in with blatantly fake accounts, leaving giant pledges, and then pulling them. So, you know, everyone would look and say, oh, Phil's hitting his goal for this month. That's cool. I don't need to pledge now because he hit the goal already. And then last minute, it would plummet $300. Pretty stupid. So, the same thing happened this month. FYI, I got confused, and I do apologize to anyone who was confused with the whole dates and everything. I thought today was the last day of June. I really did. I thought today was the final day of June. And I started tweeting, it's the last day, you've got 12 hours left to pledge or whatever. I was wrong. I screwed up. And I apologize for that. Today's not the last day of June. Alright, tomorrow is. So that means as of right now, you have 35.5 hours from this very moment that I'm talking and recording this to pledge to my Patreon for the month of June and make this Sonic Marathon happen. Alright? The problem is, guess what happened overnight? 2 people who left fake pledges earlier this week, or not earlier this week, earlier this month. It was actually very early on in the month. There were 2 people who made large pledges, like the first week of June, when my parents were visiting. And that's kind of what threw me off. It was like, my parents are visiting, I'm not putting out any new content, I'm not live streaming, why am I getting giant pledges on Patreon? It seems out of place, right? So, unfortunately, they pulled the pledges today. And it sucks because, you know, all month you're looking at the pledge total, and it was like, oh, it's right near the goal. We're right there near the financial goal to do this Sonic Marathon. We're right there, we're on the edge, we're right next to it, good. And I'm sure there are people who might have pledged, right, if they thought that we were further away from the Sonic goal, but they saw that we were right next to it, and they were like, alright, looks like Phil's gonna make it. Well, whatever, you know, I'm not gonna pledge this month then. Alright? Well, this morning they removed it, and now, because this idiot and or idiots were faking all month, we're now more than $150 below the goal. Significantly. In fact, I think last time I checked, it was like almost $200 below the goal. Because it was 2 fake pledges that were inflating everything all month. And it's not fair. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to you, especially if you're a pledgee to Patreon, right? You thought, oh, like, Phil's a couple bucks off, so I'll put in $5 this month. Maybe he'll make the Sonic goal. And then it plummets. It's absolute bullshit, alright? Well, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. 2 things, alright? I have 2 things, and both of these are kind of positive, alright? I'm going to spin this negative into a positive. Number 1, we still have 35.5 hours left to pledge to Patreon. There's still a chance people can pledge and we can hit the goal to do this Sonic Marathon, alright? And the bottom line is, the total that you see on Patreon is not accurate. Alright? The totals that you see that are public facing, if you go to my Patreon right now, if you see patreon.com/DarkSidePhil, It'll probably say like 1,000 and change, you know, $1,050 or something like that. And the goal is $1,250. So it looks like we're $200 off, right? The bottom line is, that's not true. Okay? I just want to make that abundantly clear to everyone. That's actually not true. What happens with Patreon, they actually changed this late last year, is it estimates, based off of the amount of pledgees that you have, that a certain percentage of your pledgees are going to get declined. It just estimates, it guesses. Okay? And this is true every month. I get a chunk of pledgees who get declined for various reasons. Maybe they didn't have money in their account and they thought they did, or their credit card expired, or for whatever reason. All right? So, the bottom line is what you see there. All right? What you see there on Patreon is not accurate. It's an estimate. There's a chance we will hit the goal this month. Okay? I don't want people to see that and say, oh my God, Phil's so far off from his goal. That's it. Well, forget it. No Sonic Marathon. No, it's not true at all. First of all, like I said, there's still 35 and some hours to pledge. And number two, we could still hit the goal even despite all that, because it's estimating that a certain amount of people will be declined, and it automatically lowers the total that you see. All right? So that's number one. Just want to let you know. Chances are we may still hit the goal. Don't freak out about it, okay? Number two. I think what I'm going to have to do in the month of July, and I didn't want to do this. I actually did not want to do this, all right? But I think I have to at this point to avoid this nonsense. I think I'm going to set up my Patreon. There's an option. They just adopted this a couple months ago, where as soon as someone pledges to Patreon, it charges them, okay? You can't even pledge without entering your credit card information or PayPal or whatever and having a charge go through. It won't even show up on your Patreon page. Now, I've avoided this. I've avoided doing it because I've had Patreon since February of 2015, and I have pledgees that have been there since day one, and I appreciate that, but they're used to it not being that way, right? They're used to it being that they can on the fly adjust their pledge at any time, and it doesn't affect them until the early first week of the month, the first day of the month, it charges them. They're used to that. But unfortunately, I think I need to now institute a change. All right? I need to. Because I can't have these idiots coming in and false pledging like crazy and overinflating the total and making it look like we've hit goals we haven't and deterring other people from pledging because people would have pledged if they didn't think we didn't hit the goal yet. And it's bullshit. It's not fair to me. It's not fair to other, to other pledgees. It's not fair to anyone. So I think in July I'm going to have to turn this on. Now the problem is, once I turn it on, I can't turn it off. So once I turn it on, the day that I do that, I'm going to have to make a video to make it publicly knowledgeable to all of my patrons that FYI, if you, with the day you pledge, you're getting charged, and if you change the amount of your pledge, you're getting charged immediately. Those are the two major changes that'll happen if I change the way my Patreon works, okay? So I'm going to be doing that, I think, in July. I have to at this point. It's just not fair. And the bottom line is, in July, I already know what the goal is going to be for July. FYI, I can give you guys a little preview. It's the return of the Patron's Choice. It's where patrons are going to be able to nominate and vote on games they want to see me play for downtime. And right now, my Patron's Choice game that I'm still playing is Persona 3, but it looks like I'll finish it by the end of July, which means in August, it would be the perfect time for patrons to nominate and vote on a new Patron's Choice game, right? And hopefully by the end of August, I could start it up, and maybe in September, October, November, whenever there's a day when there's not much going on, that's when I'll be playing that game. Okay? So that's how it's going. And I didn't want to do it, but it is what it is. I wanted to talk a little bit about it because it was frustrating me. I'm sure it's frustrating many people. It sucks when you can't even tell, you really want this Sonic Marathon to happen and you have no idea where we are. I had no idea either. It's stupid. It really is. I don't understand how Patreon ever set up a business where people could just fucking troll the living shit out of people. By the way, Patreon just 2 months ago instituted a way to ban people. I'm not kidding you. Their business operated for several years without the ability to ban people from the website. So people could fake pledge, they could troll you, they could post up insulting comments, they could dox you on your comments on your page, they could put all kinds of nasty shit, and you couldn't do anything about it. They literally just launched this website without the basic functionality of like every other business. And then after the fact, they came in and fixed it. Luckily now, all right, luckily now, they fixed it and they have the ability to ban and they have all this. All right. So right now, if anyone does come in and starts trolling me on Patreon, I ban them and they don't come back. So that's good. So anyway, enough about Patreon. I just wanted to throw that out there. There is still time. Please consider pledging. If you want to see the Sonic Marathon happen, either the 1 through 3 Classics or Sonic Adventure or Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, any of those, please consider pledging in the next 35 and a half hours. All right? All right. Let's get rid of this. All right, everyone. I am not going to do any more plugs. Everything that you see here, obviously, is significant. Please consider all these things. You know, social media and checking out my review channel and Leanna's business, the Black Current. All these things are good. All these things allow me to keep doing this full time. I appreciate your viewership and your time. And now it's time to start with Inside, okay? Thank you. And it's time to begin. All right.